Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, Black and Married with Kids. Today is Thursday, and I pray that you all have had such a miraculous day that it was just really, really mind blowing. I'm so excited to be with you all on tonight. We definitely have a hot topic that is going to continue as I have been coming on Black and Married with Kids. And for those of you all who may not know me or have never seen me on Black and Married with Kids, I am Dunamis Dee, aka affectionately known as Pastor Dee, and I am the founder of Dunamis Woman Enterprise, LLC. And I work very, very closely, you all. I'm so elated because I work closely with my daughters. I do have two daughters that I birthed in the earth, and they were a miracle itself. So I'm excited because I am truly, truly blessed that I have the privilege of not only just working with them from a mother standpoint and a spiritual mothering standpoint, but from a business standpoint. So that's really excited. Hey, Giovanni, how are you? How are you doing? I'm excited about what's happening. I'm excited about what's happening, you all, in our lives as a people. Okay, as a people, because we are, and I say we as a Black woman and a Black man, we are powerful, and we have so much in us that sometimes we don't even know what all to do with it. But I'm here to let you know that it is the dunamis power that resides on the inside of you. Well, I guess you all may not understand what dunamis means, but so let me enlighten you. Dunamis is a Greek term. It's a biblical term. It's a spiritual term. And it literally means a miracle itself. Thank you, Giovanni. Blessings and prosperity. I receive it, honey. It means a miracle itself. And that miracle requires your power. It requires the strength, the ability, the force. It is even defined, you all, as a violence that's on the inside of you. So we have that ability that's been given to us to actually birth, to actually create, to actually make things happen. Hey, Laverne, beyond our comprehension. So that's why I'm excited when I come on Black and Married with Kids, because I'm not just talking to women. Typically, I deal and I coach and I lead and I guide so many women. And I do that because we are the birthing canal. We are the life givers. We are the matriarchs. We are the womb bearers. We have that ability to incubate, harbor, and allow seed to germinate within inside of us that it may produce a miracle. And that's why I love Black and Married with Kids, because it's woman and man who have produced children. You all have produced your life, and you have to be healed and understand how powerful you really are, that you may leave a legacy. So what is it, you all, if we don't have rich relationships, particularly with one another? That's the way God intended it. And now it's time. It's time for us as Black married women, men, together, standing united, to live according to God's original plan for our lives. So that's why I'm here on Black and Married with Kids. That's why we do what we do at Dunamis Woman Enterprise. We're not biased. We're not limited to women. But women, that's why we deal with you first, because men, they plant the seeds, but we're the one who gives the life. You know what? I tell all women, either we're going to do two things, y'all. And a woman can do this very well. We can either build our men up or we can tear them down. We got that much power. We got that much ability. But I am an advocate for healing. I'm an advocate for healing because I believe in us taking what God has given us, that dunamis, and building not only the men up in our lives, but our life, our legacy, our children, our grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren, that when we're not living on this earth, they're still being impacted by our lives. So for those of you all who are jumping on, who are tuning in, I'm so excited. I am Pastor Dee. I am your spiritual leader, life and relationship coach. I take so much time to ensure, as much as I can, by the power of the Holy Spirit, that you all are getting guided, you are getting coached, that you're hearing what God has for you, that you may live it specifically for your life. You can't take every man and put them in the same boat and think they're going to paddle and go to the same destination. And you can't take every woman and do the same thing. So therefore, you can't take every marriage and just give them a song, give them a tune, give them a dance. We need some one-on-one coaching. We need to know, God, what are you speaking to me and my life specifically? No longer is a general going to do. You need something with specificity. So that's why we labor so hard. That's why we do what we do. That's why we run a kingdom business right over there at Dunamis Woman Enterprise. And I'm excited. So I want you all to share this with somebody right now, because I got a topic that's for you tonight. And I don't know if it may be applicable to you, but I know it was applicable to me in my life. Okay. And the topic is how to get your spouse back after betrayal. How do you do that? Betrayal is one of the most deadly swords. It comes to pierce the heart, But it's so much into that. So how, after I've experienced this betrayal, after I've experienced infidelity and betrayal, you all, let's not limit it to sex. Okay, it's not limited to sex. Many of us has been betrayed because of our own expectations. We've been betrayed because we trusted. We've been betrayed. Okay, so Bethany Montgomery, hey Tamika, how are you? So I want you all to engage with me tonight, and I want you to know: is this a topic that may hit your heart? Do you want to know how to get your spouse back after betrayal? Do you want to know how to get your life back after betrayal? Because the principles that I'm going to give you, the spiritual principles that I'm going to give you, it is applicable, universal. Okay? Let me tell you something. Betrayal is not a man thing. It ain't a woman thing. It's a purpose-driven thing. It's a destiny. Okay. And because it hits us so hard, many of us have been betrayed by our mothers. We've been betrayed by our fathers. We've been betrayed by our friends. Not only in marriage, we've been betrayed just in so many facets. But spiritual principles is what we need to know how to implement God's word to get our life back. To get our life back and get it to the place that he wanted to be. So for those of you who are tuning in, let me introduce myself once again. I am Dunamis Dee. I'm the founder of Pastor Dee, the founder of Dunamis Woman Enterprise, spiritual leader, life and relationship coach. Before I go any further, it would be remiss of me not to thank Lamar and Ronnie Tyler for giving me this opportunity. I am so grateful because I don't take this for granted, because you all, Black and Married with Kids, you all some powerful people. And I understand that and I know that. So I'm reminded, even when I said that, I was just reminded of 1 King. And I think it's the 3rd chapter when Solomon was praying. And, you know, Solomon was the wisest man that ever walked this earth. And he said, God, he said, I'm not asking you for houses. I'm not asking you for all these tangible things. And I'm just paraphrasing it. He said, but give me understanding. He said, give me the ability to judge. Give me the ability to be able to lead and guide these great people. That's all he wanted. And as a result of him understanding and knowing how to use wisdom and how to use judgment and his discernment to lead a great people, God blessed him with so many things that he didn't even have to ask for. Well, you all, that's how I feel tonight when I'm coming on Black and Married with Kids. God, give me the wisdom, give me the understanding, give me knowing what to say, know what to speak to Black and Married with Kids, because you all are a great people and your marriage is great. God has intended you to live prosperous. So share this with someone. Tell me right now where you're from. I'm thankful, Tamika, if you're from Bethany, Montgomery. I want to know who I'm speaking to. I want to know where you're from. I want to know where you're located, because I believe what I'm talking about is just not limited to one place. It's for all of us. So, Pauline, how you doing? Jackie, how are you? I'm elated. I'm elated that you all are here. So let's get into the topic tonight. How to get your spouse back after betrayal. If you say, you know, somebody already said, Deidre, I need this tonight. Thank you. Thank you. And I also want to thank the women. I extended my hour of power. Dayton, Ohio. Hey, Woodhaven, Michigan. Hey, Pauline. I extended my hour of power the last time I was with Black and Married with Kids. Yvette, Gary, Indiana. You're from my neck of the woods. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. So, hey, I understand where you are. But I extended my hour of power to the women the last time I talked about betrayal. And so all the women who came forth and got their hour of power and allowed me to see within their soul, allowed me to hear their heart, allowed me to provide spiritual strategies, spiritual principles based upon where you are so you can know where you're going. I am grateful, and I want to say thank you. And for those of you all who didn't, I did put that link up there today again. So I know that this topic can be very sensitive, and I know that you might not know me, and I know that, you know, a lot of doubt come in and skepticism. Who is this Black woman and what's she talking about or whatever? But for me, it's all about the kingdom of God, and the kingdom of God is all about relationships. So if you're ever interested in my hour of power, just so someone can hear into your heart, see into your soul, give you spiritual guidance with specificity for your life, your relationship as being the woman assigned to the great man, assigned to the real awesome man in your life, assigned to your children. I am here for you. Just 1 hour of power. Now, Philadelphia, here I come. Naperville, I'm going to come down your street. Washington, Maryland, I'm going to be right here with you tonight, because I wanted to know where you all are from. Because although betrayal is betrayal, but God has gifted me to understand the principalities that hover over various regions. And a lot of us don't know the spiritual forces that we're fighting and that is coming against us based upon the region, based upon our culture, based upon, I call it spiritual mapping. What is in this region? What is in this town? What is hovering over me? What is hovering where I'm living? Everybody got something that they're dealing with, okay? Some people are deprivation. Some people are stuck from a impoverished mentality. Some people are dealing with such a spirit of pride and poverty that is hovering over them that they don't understand how to attack it spiritually. But what happens is it comes to captivate our mind. Now, I'm going to give you all something tonight that I gave the ladies in my Healing for My Soul tour this last weekend when I was in Chicago. And it was so revelatory, but I want you to take note of this. Satan hates the man's presence, Presence. But he also hates a woman's essence, Essence. When the woman really knows who she is, she carries a fragrance. She carries a certain essence about herself. She carries a certain aura about herself that really, really intimidates the enemy. And so betrayal comes to take away your confidence. Now, I'm not going to go into deep talking about confidence tonight, but I just want you to know the essence of a woman. When we've been betrayed, it comes to take away our confidence. Well, even when a man have experienced betrayal, even when a man have experienced some things in his life, it comes to get him out of God's presence. Okay? He will withdraw. Okay? And so that's how the enemy uses us against one another. And in our area of where we live, in our community, you got to know how to spiritually map your position. Spiritually map your position to know how to properly war. Now, as I'm continuing to come on Black and Married with Kids, I'm going to go deeper into that in the next few weeks. But for tonight, I want to give you 3 spiritual principles on how to get your spouse back after betrayal. Now, I'm not really talking about the physical body, okay? Because God has never given any of us power to govern or control any human being. But what he has given us is the Dunamis power to know how to win the heart of a man, to know how to win the heart of the woman, okay? So in this case, I'm basically speaking to women right now. So for you, how do I win the heart of my man? How do I win the heart of the man God has given me? Because let me tell you something. The body can be with you, but the mind can be all the way on the other side of town. Y'all know that song. My body's here with me, but my mind is on the other side of town. Y'all know how that go. Come on now, stay with me. Say I'm with you, Pastor Dee. Say I'm with you. I need to hear from you. Say I'm with you. So don't get it mistaken, because one of the things that the enemy will do with us as women, he will allow our essence, he will allow the essence of who we are to become very prideful. We can carry a haughty spirit. We can carry a spirit thinking that we're more than what we really are. It's called a spirit of pride or a spirit of grandiosity. So the first thing we need to do, women, is humble ourselves. Thank you, Tamara. You with me? Thank you, Pauline. I love y'all. Somebody stay with me, okay? We need to always strive to walk in humility. That's what a Dunamis woman does. She's a graceful woman. She's a woman that no matter what, thank you, Yvette, she walks in a spirit of grace and humility. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, that ain't always easy when your heart has been betrayed. Because one of the things that we have a tendency to do, Melanie, thank you, Kiwana, thank you, Yvette, we have a tendency to go into self-protection. Okay? And when we go into self-protection and we begin to guard our heart, then we start quenching the spirit of the living God, who wants to move us in a whole totally different direction. Now, before I give you all these principles, can I tell you a story? I want to tell you a real story. It's the truth. I can't talk about anybody but me. And so I have been talking about infidelity, betrayal, because it's not a biff, biff, bam, bam thing. You know, it's a large part of my ministry. It's a large part of what I do from a healing standpoint. Because basically I could say 99% of the women who've come to me, and I've even had men, trust me on that. Men, if you're looking at this, you ain't alone, okay? They have experienced betrayal. So I know exactly, in a sense, of how to minister to them, because I know what vein to go in. Because when your heart has been betrayed, your heart has been bruised, you have experienced that, and you have been infirm, it will work together for what God has called you to do. The very thing that you've been called to is the very place where you experience your pain. That's why it's your power. Hey, Daphne. Good evening. So I want to tell you all a story. And this is, I got many of them, because I got some stories about betrayal. Okay. I got my stripes on my back. I got my wounds, but trust me, they have been healed. So I'm not talking out of my pain. I'm talking out of my wholeness. But I had went through a period of time that the betrayal that I've experienced and with my husband at that time, it was a very extensive period of time, and I can go into so many topics about the process. Okay, but I want to get to this point for what the subject matter is for tonight. He ended up leaving, and he ended up going and living with the woman that he had been with. Okay, so when he left, he understood after I had released him. I had to release him. I had to release him out of my heart. I had to emotionally leave him. In other words, I had to emotionally detach so I can get my strength. I can get my power. And I only can do that in the presence of God. I had to get my essence back of who I am, because I understand how betrayal come to rob you of who you are. Somebody put that there. Betrayal robs you of who you are. So after he had left, it was maybe about several weeks, you all, maybe a couple of months. Now, I got to give you this with the story. He knows my life. Okay. I have been spiritually leading and coaching for over 20 years. Okay. So he had seen a lot of my life. Okay. And if you got my book, How to Pray with Power and Purpose, he actually wrote the foreword to it. So he witnessed my travail. He witnessed my prayer life. He's heard me early in the morning. He's seen the strategies and heard the things that I've given people. Okay. He's seen the manifestation of lives transforming based upon how God used me. So I had to just let you know that. So when he got into a predicament, okay, when he got into the situation and he discovered that this is not where he was supposed to be, because he was not with the woman, he ended up being with a witch. Okay. And when I say a witch, that means she's a woman who is high-minded. She was pious, not living for Christ. And her prey, P-R-E-Y, was with men who had a heart. Okay. Now, if I can't say nothing else, my ex-husband had a heart. Okay. Heart was pure. Heart was pliable, but naive in the spirit realm. Many of our men, they have a heart. They have a heart, but they are naive to the spirit realm. Okay. Because the warfare God has given us is given us for the woman, and where the hostility has been placed between the woman and the serpent. Now, I hope you all are following me. Please stay with me. So he called me up one day and he said, I need your help. Now, remember, it's been a whole lot of abusive words going on. It's been a whole lot of stuff on his part, condescending, because when you have been cheating, you will carry guilt and shame. And the guilt and shame comes to inflict your spouse. Okay. So the closest person to you is going to get the brunt of what's been taking place. So thank you, Daphne. You with me? So he called me and he said, can you coach me spiritually out of this situation? And you all, what I'm giving you is the biggest nugget that I saw: win the spouse back. It wasn't about winning him back from me to me. It was about winning him back from the enemy. It was about winning him back from the witch. It was about winning him back where the powers of darkness was no longer hovering over his mind. So the coach that I am, the leader that I am, the woman who loves Christ with every fiber of her being, I did that. Okay. Now he said, I will pay you. I said, no, you don't have to pay me. It's my pleasure to win your heart back for Christ for free. It ain't about coming back to me. It's about you coming back to the place of who God called you to be. And that's a black man. That's a black man with power. That's a black man with strength. That's a black man with a mega mind. Because we get so off course, you all. Now, my first point for saying this, before I even tell you the later part of the story, is that women, we got to forget about what we want all the time. See, sometimes we could be selfish, self-centered, and self-absorbed. And when you are really exemplifying and exuding the love of Christ out of your heart, you got to understand it's not about you. I'm not talking about eros love. I'm not talking about phileo love. I'm really talking about agape love. Yes, Elizabeth. Amen. I'm talking about the love of God that has been occupying your heart. So what I asked him to do, I said, now, I need you to do something. I said, because I can't just coach you without having information. I can't coach anybody without getting information. I said, so you're going to have to answer some questions for me. So you all, I had to get some information. I had to get some information about who she was and who she is and what she did and because in all of that were strategies. So he had to humble himself to give me the information, and giving me that information, it brought healing to my heart, because we as women, you all, we have unanswered questions. Any of you all have experienced it and you have some unanswered questions? Because it makes you start doubting yourself. It starts make you question yourself. So I told him, I said, the very thing that you did to me, and I sat there and took it, this is what you're going to have to do with her in order for you to make your exit. I said, you got to humble yourself. You got to humble your heart. You got to humble yourself. How do you win? Now, the moral of the story is he got set free. Oh, he got set free. Yeah, Nicole. Yes, he got set free. He got set free from the witch. He got set. Now, I don't know where he is now, who he with now, but he got set free. He got set free. That was victory, you all. That was victory. Okay, I had progressed. I had moved to other places in my heart and in my life and in my mind. But the moral of the story is that we want all of our black men free. We want them free to be who God has created them to be. They need to be free to stand up in who they are. Do you know, women, your biggest opponent is not your husband. The biggest opponent that you have is the witch that wants the man that you already have. And this is what I teach in Dunamis Woman. Yes, Nicole, your husband got set free. Our warfare is not by flesh and blood, but it's spiritual. That's why I love spiritual coaching. I love spiritual leadership. I love teaching spiritual principles. Now, I don't know what situation you're in. I don't know what you've experienced. I don't know where your life is. And I'm not trying to go there prophetically to even hear it and understand it right now. But what I am saying to you, implement these principles no matter where you are. Yes, Elizabeth, humble yourself. 1, the first principle is understand. Now, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you. Now, if you're a man listening to me, I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking directly to you. Matthew 12:34 says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Well, what are you saying, Pastor Dee? Know and check your heart. Even the book of James say, be slow to speak, quick to hear, and slow to wrath. Sometimes you got to step back and examine your own heart. How do you win your spouse back? Know your heart. What is your heart filled with? What is your heart? Is it contentious? Is it bitter? Do you have unforgiveness in it? You know what I'm saying? It might not be with him. It could be with something and someone else in the past. Okay, but I do know Satan comes as a roaring lion seeking whom he can devour. So sometimes we got to check our heart in order to win the heart back of our spouse. Not just the heart back to us, but mainly the heart back to God. That's the first principle. Number 2. Yes, Tamara, do a self-check. Do a heart check. Do a self-examination. Number 2. Now, this is where I'm going to get all of you all, because I had to do this, you all. I had to watch my tone. When I did speak, what was I sounding like? What was my tone? See, sometimes we can speak truth. Sometimes we can give answers that doesn't have any relevance to anything, but our tone. Men can be very sensitive to how we speak to them because they require our respect. It don't matter about the betrayal. It don't matter about what happened. It's what they require. It's respect. So Proverbs 15:1 says a soft word, it turns away wrath. Okay? Sometimes we got so much wrath in our home, contention, strife, because not just our mannerism, but it's our tone. Not how you're saying it based upon what you're saying, but what's the words that you're using and the tone that you're using them in. Are y'all getting this? You want to win your spouse back? You want to win them back. Some of you all may have never experienced betrayal. Some of you all may have never experienced what I'm talking about. And I pray that you never will. But I'm here to tell you that don't mean that his mind is with you all the time. See, just because that body is on the couch don't mean his heart is right there. Just because, and their heart might not be with another woman. Their heart could be in sports. Their mind could be somewhere else. They sit, I coach so many women, and the men just don't talk to them because they off somewhere in their own cave. They off somewhere in la la land. They may hear you, but your words sound like Charlie Brown. Wah, wah, wah. And they're not making any fresh facial expressions. They have zoned out, completely out. But the soft word, the gentle word, the loving word, and the abundance of the heart, of your joy, of your peace, of your own healing. Do you know how that would reach the heart? Yes, Elizabeth. Yes. That's all. We all need the Lord to help us. And then the last thing. Oh, are y'all ready? Tell me you're ready. Are you still with me? Because I know I may be coming on with you, but I got to speak the truth in love because this is the process that I had to go through. I can't put it all on him. I can't put it all on what he did. Sometimes we so busy pointing one finger that we fail to realize we got four fingers pointing right back at us. In spite of what happened, I still had to do a self-examination. In spite of what took place, I still had to look at me because Dee needed healing. Dee had some residue. Dee had some things going on. Okay, the last one. Thank you, Pauline. You're ready. 1 Peter 3:19, it says, don't render evil for evil, nor railing for railing. Well, what does that mean? Just because one person did evil, don't you do evil. Well, it's not about that you're doing. When I'm talking about evil, it means, according to the Greek term, this evil means worthless. Sometimes there is no perfect spouse. There is no perfect person. There is no perfect mate. And evil resides in all of us. You're not perfect. You got some evil in you. I got some evil in me. Okay? Double cross me the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see some other parts of me. And I got to stay healed and go deeper in my soul so I can know how to govern that. But evil in this case means worthless. Don't render, when evil has been done to you, don't view them as being worthless. Yeah, Tamara, we all need a lot of prayer on this one. And that's why I'm here, honey. If you need to reach out to me, my hour of power bit.ly is right there. Okay? All of us need some time to see within ourselves. All of us need some time for someone who's been through this to be able to coach us, to be able to help us see within our own soul. That's why they call me Pastor Dee, and I'm honored by it. So if you need that bit.ly, use it. Don't hesitate. bit.ly, my hour power. You are well worth it, honey. All of us as women are well worth it. And we do so much. We don't take time for ourselves, but we're steady giving. We're steady pouring. We're steady doing. We're steady doing. So when evil has been done to us, when we have been betrayed by anybody, I can see mama as worthless. I can see daddy as worthless. I can see my husband. That's just a worthless, useless Negro. We can say it so easily. The hell with him. Y'all know what I'm saying? Come on now. Let's speak the truth. You begin to render evil in your mind for evil that has been done to you. Even it says don't render railing for railing. Don't speak reproach over them. Don't speak. If you don't have anything good to say, keep your mouth shut as the Lord heals your heart. How can a contentious heart win anybody back? Not a dog gonna come back to a nagging and contentious wife. Not a dog gonna come back to an evil woman. So we all need to learn how to implement these principles. But that's why we all need healing. That's why we all need coaching. That's why we all need some guidance. You all, are you with me? If you're with me, say, Pastor Dee, I'm with you. I'm going to attend to my own soul. I'm going to attend to me. You are worth it. So you can continue to build your life. You can continue to build your legacy. You can continue. And let me tell y'all something. Sometimes we so focused on the man. Do you know our children are impacted by this? These principles that I gave you, it works universal. It works for your kids. It works for your husband. It works for your boss. If you got a dog that you love, it works for that too. Principles gonna be principles. And it's time for us as a black woman and a black man to live, not out of our pain, but live out of our wholeness. Operate out of our wholeness. Now I want all of you all to learn how to spiritually war. I'm not talking about that right now, but I want to know that's my expertise. That's my calling. That's my gift. That's what I do. But you got to know strategies first. You got to get healed first. You got to be able to see within your soul, and you got to know how to work from where you are. Many of you all been married for years. Many of you all, you ain't new here, you grew here. And so many things have happened. But you got to know where you're located in your heart to know how to move forward to where you got to go. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Kiwana. Thank you, Nicole. I am with you. I am with all of you all. I love Black and Married with Kids. Once again, I am so grateful for Lamar and Ronnie Tyler giving me this opportunity, because my heart's desire is that we as a black people, together, man and woman, may live harmoniously in love, in true peace, in true harmony, that our children may be impacted from what comes from our hearts. All right. I want you all to have a blessed evening. Get that hour of power, bit.ly, my hour of power. Okay. And I'm with you, and I will be loved and be grateful and honored to see within your soul. Hey, I'm coming to Houston, you all. I'm coming to Dallas. I'm coming to Atlanta, back ending this Healing for My Soul tour. If you know anybody in here, if you know anybody in those areas, share this. Say, look, Unleash the Woman Within, Healing for My Soul tour with Pastor Dee. You don't want to miss it. The tickets is only $27. You can't beat that with a stick. Share this with another woman. Tell somebody. Let's have a movement for Dunamis. It's a Dunamis woman movement, all right? Enjoy the rest of your evening. Daphne, Elizabeth, Kiwana, Nicole, everyone who's viewed this, everyone who've ever viewed this, know not only do I love you, but most of all, you are truly adored and loved by God. Have a great evening.